In a world full of noise and distractions, our values are the quiet yet powerful forces that ground us, reminding us of who we truly are and what really matters. But have you ever stopped to ask yourself, what are my values? Today we are going to explore what personal values mean, why they are so important, and what it means to live in alignment with them. But before we go deeper into today's episode, hi, I'm glad you are tuning in for another episode of We Walk with A.F.I. If this is your first time, hey, welcome. And if you are a returning listener, hi, welcome back. I remain your host, A.F.I. Today we are diving into a topic that is actually very essential to how we live, how we grow, and how we interact with the world around us. It's about personal values. These are the principles that guide us. They are principles that shape our decisions and influence our relationships. Yet, most of us haven't even taken out time to clearly define what these values are. To start off, let's define personal values. Personal values are those deeply held beliefs that influence how we behave and make decisions. They are like the standards by which we measure what is right, what is wrong, things that are important and things that are not important. They guide everything, from we choosing our career path, how we nurture our relationship with people, down to how we respond in time of crisis. For example, if kindness is one of your core values, you are clearly likely to act with compassion and patience. Even when you are faced with a lot of frustration, you are still that person. Even when there are a lot of reasons why you shouldn't exhibit kindness, you are still kind. Why? Because that is just one of your core values, and if you're making conscious effort to stick to that value, that it has become so much like yourself, like your second skin. So it all means that values are like the reflections of who we really are or who we want to be. I mean, you are kind. I might want to be kind. You understand? So I'm not there yet, but that is who I really want to be. And if I make kindness one of my core personal values, then yes, I'm aspiring to be kind, and I'm taking conscious efforts. I'm making decisions that shows that yes, I am exhibiting this trait, or this is one of my core values, or this is a reflection of who I am. I am kind. So it all means that your personal values are like a reflection of who you are, like a replica of who you truly are. You're looking at yourself in the mirror and you're like, okay, yeah, this is me. And you look at people and say, oh no, he is so trustworthy. Why? Integrity is probably part of that person's personal value. So looking at the person, people don't just become honest, people don't just become trustworthy. They have a track record of doing things that actually help them to build that attitude and that habit. So you might be thinking, okay, why is it important for me to identify my personal values or even to understand my personal values? Now, I will say that it is actually important for you and for us to really understand our personal values, because it helps us to stay true to ourselves. You are not trying to deceive yourself. You are not trying to deceive anyone. You are not even trying to deceive the world. You are staying true to who you are, especially in situations where you know that your decisions could be swayed by external pressures or fears. There's this story that I heard. It happened a long time, not really a long time ago, but that time that the Boko Haram attack was serious in the country. So there are these people on transit and they got attacked. They got captured, and their captors, those were the Boko Harams. Now they told them that okay, scriptures, you are going to tell us your faith. If you are a believer, that is, if you are a Christian or not. And even though it's not funny, but it's actually kind of funny to me how you see people and you just know their faith. You just know, okay, this person is a believer, this person is not a believer. I'm like, okay, do we have it written on our foreheads that, okay, I'm a Christian? No, I'm not a Christian. It's actually funny because even sometimes you're not seeing the Bible with the person, you're not seeing a cross with the person, you're not really seeing anything that makes them look like a believer, but you just know that they're a believer, and then you engage in a conversation with them and you know that yes, indeed, this person is a believer. So this was what happened. They were given the liberty to say, okay, yes, I am a believer, no, I'm not. And according to their captors, if you are a believer, you will be killed, and if you are not a believer, you will be, released. And a lot of believers lied. A lot of people lied about their faith. They said, no, I'm not a believer, you get that kind of a thing, or I renounce my faith. And few people just said, okay, yes, I am a believer and that is who I am. I'm not going to change that because of the situation that I have found myself in. And these people were spared, and the people that lied were killed. Now, fine, I know that you might be thinking that, okay, maybe they just had faith in God that probably an angel will come and save them, or Jesus Christ will, open up the heavens and something will happen, there will be a miracle. But looking deep into it, I felt like, okay, these men or these people choose to still be themselves. Yes, integrity, I am honest, I will always say the truth no matter the situation. That is conscious effort, to exhibit integrity as a habit. It's a conscious effort. I can just imagine the fears and everything, and they chose to say the truth, even though they are still alive now or they are dead. I don't know, but I think that is one thing I actually admire about them. I don't know them, I've never seen them physically, but that is a message to me. I'm like, okay, and these people choose to say the truth even in such a situation because they've made integrity one of their core values and they decided to live by it. So I don't know them physically, but at least I know a reflection of them. I know who they are. These are people that choose to stand by who they are. These are people that choose to say the truth irrespective of the situation that they found themselves in. So when you actually know your values, it becomes more easier for you to make choices that you will not regret. You make choices, and even when it won't work out the way you wanted, okay, maybe you say the truth and everything come back haunting you and all, yet you are still okay with what you did. You are still okay with your decision because that is who you are, and you are not ready to trade your core value for something that will cause internal conflict for you. A conflict within yourself. You are battling with, is this really who I am, or this is not who I am? So the point is, it is actually important for you to know your core values. When you do, it will help you making decisions. And having a set of core values can actually give clarity and direction of what you really want and who you are and who you want to be. But the key here is your values must be yours and not someone else's. Yes, I know that we are often faced with choosing other people's value because the family is saying this, your friends are saying this, everybody is saying this, social media is saying you should place value on this. Yes, I get it, but have you sat down to really ask yourself what you really value? Not what somebody else value, not what your friend value, but you yourself. What do you really value? What do you want to place value on? What do you want to be your own reflection? I think you should ponder more on that rather than pondering on what the society or social media is trying to place value on. Do not corrupt who you are. Do not contaminate who you are. Be yourself. Choose the values that you want to work towards. Choose what you want to reflect back to you and to the world. And that being said, living in alignment with your personal value is not always easy. That is just the point. But it means that your decisions, your actions, your behaviors constantly reflect the core beliefs and principles that matter most to you. So it's about making choices that are true to who you are and who you stand for, even when you are faced with pressure, even when you are faced with challenges, even when you are faced with opportunities that might tempt you to compromise. A lot of times there will be reasons to compromise your value, but you are consciously making efforts, you are consciously taking decisions that still align with them. And that is why it is important that you check in with yourself always. See, it is possible that you might derail from that track. It is possible that you might lose track of what you are really doing. But when you choose to align your values with living each day, it means that even when you are no longer on track, you can still bring yourself back on track because that is who you are and who you want to be seen as or remembered as or who you want to be. There was this time that I was with a friend, and it's also funny that we were having a discussion, right? And his mom was there, and she asked me a question, and I answered, and she was like, "Oh, that must be the truth." And my friend was like, "Mommy, how are you so sure that's the truth?" And the mom said, "No, if she said this, then that's the truth." She said, "I've known her for years, and everything that she has always said has always been true." I was like, wow, okay, so I'm lost. I don't understand. Is it that you've run a check on everything that I said to you for you to be so sure that I was saying the truth? That actually sends a message to me. okay, people are actually watching, people are actually seeing me. I might not be seeing myself, but people are actually seeing me. After that encounter, I decided to, be more conscious about my integrity. I decided to be more conscious about me saying the truth, even when it's not convenient, even when it means, walking away. Because the point is, it will not always be easy. There will be times that you will be faced with a lot of things that will make you want to compromise your value. But who are you? What are you really placing your value on? It will help you along the line, even when it seems like, okay, you should probably compromise. Just imagine somebody's mom telling me, I know she's saying the truth. As long as that is what she said, that is the truth. That meant a lot to me, and it still means a lot to me. I know there are times that our values might conflict, like we might have a clash. Let's take, for example, you value both independence and community together. So there will surely be moments that there will be a clash. There will be a moment that you want to be independent, you just want to be yourself, and at the same time, your community needs you. The support that we get from having a community is actually great. It's something that personally you might not be able to give yourself, right? So in my conflicts, but in such a situation, you have to check what is most important at that point. You have to check the situation you are right in at that point. So you have to reflect, you have to think about the one that matters most at that point. So it doesn't mean that you have to let go of one value for another because they might conflict at some point in time. It just means that you have to look into the situation that you find yourself in. So that is you aligning with your personal values every day. Now let's look at how do we really identify these values. How do you identify that, okay, yes, it is integrity for me, it is empathy for me, it is emotional intelligence for me, it is kindness for me, it is self-awareness for me, or even it is curiosity for me? How do you know? The first thing that you have to do is reflection. You have to reflect on some certain things. Like you have to think about the times that you felt so happy, the times that you felt so strong, you felt at peace, you felt so alive. And then after thinking about those moments, you will have to think about what happened. What were you doing at that moment? You will now look into the values that were at play in those moments, because there are moments that you felt so happy. And okay, let's just take for example, you were walking down the road and you saw somebody that needed help with direction. I know you directed them to where they were supposed to go, and they were so glad that you did. And they just say, oh, I'm so glad that you did help me, thank you, I would have been stranded, all of those things. And then you feel so happy, you felt so alive because you were able to help. Now, one of the values that you have to write down there is kindness. You being kind, you looking out for other people, that is very okay. So you have to write down the values that were at play at that moment. And then again, you have to also consider moments of discomfort. These were moments that you probably felt down, or you probably felt so uncomfortable, or you're not even happy. You need to ask yourself, what was missing during this time? This can actually reveal values that you might have neglected or even forgotten, or you don't even care about. Fine. But at the same time, you might not care about them now, but you really want them. So that might even happen. So you have to consider moments that you were not even comfortable at all. And then you have to write down all of the things that matters to you, all the values that you think matters to you. You have to write them down. Make a list of these things. It might be in your career, it might be your relationship, your personal life. Make a list of all the things that you think matters to you. And once you have that list, start to prioritize them. Because the point is, not everything will hold equal weight in every season of your life. And then you put your values to test. You don't just write your values down and let them do that. You exercise them in real life situation. That is you aligning with your personal values. So you have to put them to test. If integrity is one of the core values that you so much desire or you want to work towards, yes, start learning to say the truth, even when it is not easy. See, one of my personal core values that I hold so high is integrity. And even though it has not been always easy to keep up to the honor of that value, I've had to do things that were so hard. Even if it means me walking away or saying the truth despite the situation, you have to be conscious. I remember when I was growing up and I would do something that I know that, okay, this thing is bad or silly, or when my parents come back, they won't be happy with me. And immediately they come back, the first thing I'll say is, okay, mom, I did this. Before she will start asking that, okay, what happened? I saw that this was not supposed to be here, or this was not supposed to happen. What happened? I'll be like, before that time will come, let me just redeem myself immediately. So I'm like, okay, mom, this happened. Like that, I started making conscious efforts to say the truth, even when it is not easy, even when it feels like, okay, you are so dumb. Why do you have to say the truth at this particular point? And sometimes you just have to keep quiet. Sometimes you just have to walk away. Sometimes you just have to say, okay, nothing, I'm not talking about this, or I'm not saying this. And that is it. So you have to be conscious that this is really what you want. And know that values evolve as we grow. They change as we change. So it's not a one-time exercise. It's something that you have to keep doing. You have to revisit this thing regularly. You have to be conscious. You have to be consistent with it. So as you continue to grow and change, because values also change, you don't have to be rigid. So you just have to follow up. So as we wrap up this episode, I want to leave you with this. Living in alignment with your values is not a one-time decision. It's a continuous journey. And the more time you put into what truly matters to you, the more clarity and peace you will find, even when life throws you its inevitable curveballs. So remember this, it's never too late to redefine what you value and to begin to live in a way that honors these principles. So I encourage you to take some time after this episode to reflect on your values and see where they can guide you. Thank you for tuning in. If you find this episode helpful, be sure to subscribe and share with somebody who might need this. And as always, please stay committed to your growth and remember that every challenge is an opportunity to align with who you truly are. Until next time, please keep thriving and embracing your journey. Talk to you soon. I love you. Bye.